Dear students, now let's look at this example. In this example, we will be talking about a firm under perfect competition, and here all the necessary information regarding the firm is given, from where we would like to identify whether the firm is incurring loss or profit in the short run or in the long run, and whether they want to remain in the business or they want to exit from the market or leave the marketplace. So now over here, let's say a competitive firm is producing different quantity of its goods. So the quantity is given in the first column, and then the firm is actually incurring a particular level of fixed cost. So the information regarding the fixed cost is given, and then for each level of production, the firm is also incurring some variable costs. So that information is also given over here. If we sum up fixed cost and variable cost, then we get the total cost for the firm. If we take an average of the fixed cost, then we'll be getting the average fixed cost, which is equal to basically fixed cost divided by quantity. And then if we take the average of a variable cost, that means if we do variable cost divided by quantity, then we get all the average variable costs over here. So then again, if we sum up average fixed cost and average variable cost, then it will provide us with the average total cost. The marginal revenue over here is given as 21. That is basically the price received from the market. And the marginal cost, we can always calculate it from total cost. You have also seen this calculation in a previous example. So marginal cost is basically equal to the new total cost minus last total cost divided by new quantity minus last quantity. Remember that marginal cost is the additional cost that we incur for each extra unit of production. So that's what the marginal cost is showing us over here. And finally, we know that under marginal approach, the profit maximizing condition is MR is equal to MC, or in other words, the difference between MR and MC has to be equal to 0. But here I would like to mention one important point. If you take MR minus MC, that difference has to always be a positive difference. It cannot be a negative number. And if you don't get a 0, then whatever number you get as the lowest difference, you take that as a profit maximizing level of output, and that is the profit maximizing condition under marginal approach. So this particular example will also bring this issue in. Now let's see that in the quantity column, the quantities are given as 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. Up to 50 it is given. Fixed costs are 100. Variable costs are varying depending on the quantity produced. Total cost is also varying because the variable cost is varying, and total cost is consisted of both fixed cost and variable cost. After that, we get the average fixed cost, and the average fixed cost is calculated as I have mentioned before. Then there is average variable cost, which is also calculated by following the procedure I have mentioned. Average total costs are also changing depending on the quantity produced. However, the marginal revenue is fixed, which is 21 all throughout. This marginal revenue is actually equal to the price, and price is set by the marketplace, so the firm has to just take the price because they are price takers. And after calculating the marginal cost, then when we take the difference between marginal revenue and marginal cost, we can see that the difference is at first 1, then it increases 11. So we cannot take, there is no 0. First of all, see, MR minus MC is not producing any value which is equal to 0. That means we have to take the next lowest difference between MR and MC. So at first we can see that MR minus MC is equal to 1. Now in this column, if we depend on the positive values, this is the lowest difference, but we cannot consider it because there is an uprising trend just after that. So the MR minus MC has raised after that it has become 11. So difference is quite high. That means we are not getting any consistent result. At first we got 1, then we got 11. This is not a consistent result. When it will be consistent, when the value is actually going down, down and down, and it is not increasing. At the same time, we cannot also consider the negative value. So keeping all these points in mind, then after 11, the difference between MR and MC, we get 3, and after that we get negative values. Negative values we cannot consider. So the lowest difference over here between MR and MC is considered to be 3. Now at this level, what is the profit maximizing level of output? The profit maximizing level of output is simply 30. And now it's time to locate the minimum average variable cost and minimum average total cost. So on the column of average total cost, if we look at the minimum value, that is the lowest value, the value is equal to 19.33. So we have written over here that this is the minimum average total cost then, and which is also known as break-even point under perfect computation. If we are looking for the minimum average total cost, average variable cost, in that case, let's look at the average variable cost column and try to identify the lowest value, which is equal to 15. So we can call it minimum average variable cost, and this is also known as the shutdown point. Now, after identifying all this, let's face the questions one after another. So from this example, at first I might ask you that given the price is equal to 21, what is the marginal revenue of the firm? And your answer would be simply 21. Then if I ask you to identify the total revenue, that is simply price times quantity. So price is 21 and quantity is 30. Why is it 30? Because in our previous example, we have seen that at the profit maximizing level, where MR minus MC difference we have taken as 3, at the level the quantity was 30. So 21 times 30 would be equal to 630. If we are asking for the break-even price, then you look at the price is equal to minimum ATC, and then you get 19.33, which is also regarded as the normal profit point. If we are asking for a shutdown price, then that is simply equal to price is equal to minimum AVC, and in the previous table we have seen that minimum AVC is equal to 15. So that is the shutdown point. After that, if we ask you to calculate profit, then you know that profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. Now the total revenue we have already calculated, which is 630. However, the total cost, which one will you take? Exactly at the profit maximizing level, while you are choosing the optimum level of output, at the same level you will be getting the total cost amount. So that is 580. So this difference is equal to $50. Now, as price is greater than minimum ATC, that means when price is equal to 21, price is greater than minimum ATC. That means the firm earns abnormal profit because it is covering all of its average total cost and also getting a revenue more than that. So that is a absolute profit for that firm, and it can cover both the costs. So, but if the price becomes 17, so from 21, if it becomes 17, then the price is below the minimum ATC now, because minimum ATC is 19.33. So price is below minimum ATC, but it is above minimum AVC. In such a case, the firm is incurring some losses because it cannot cover its average variable costs altogether, but can cover the fixed cost, and they plan to continue in the long run to make up this loss. Now, one question that I would like you to work out, that what will be the new profit maximizing level of output and what will be the total revenue? This is an exercise for you, but I will provide you with some hints. So now to identify the new profit maximizing level of output, again you need to identify or calculate MR minus MC. Now the new MR is 17. So you do the same calculation that we have just done in the previous table. Take MR minus MC, try to identify where is the lowest positive difference between MR and MC, and what is the output at that particular level. And from there you can calculate the total revenue and profit both. Now if price is below minimum FSC, firm incurs loss. We have already seen in our previous lecture, and cannot even cover the variable cost and should shut down in the short run. Now if the price is equal to 13, which is even below the minimum average variable cost, because the shutdown price or the minimum average variable cost is equal to 15. So price is equal to 13 is even below that minimum average variable cost, and in that case what happens to total revenue and what happens to the level of profit? Definitely price, when it is less than minimum FSC, the firm thinks of shutting down temporarily. But what happens to their amount of revenue and whether they actually incurs a loss or not? So these are all for your practice. Just work throughout and try to identify. Again, for price is equal to 13, you would have to calculate the MR minus MC difference. That means you have to identify the profit maximizing level of output to calculate total revenue and profit. I hope you will practice this example at home, and if you have any confusions, you can further contact me. Thank you. With that, we have come towards the end of the chapter Perfect Competition. Please go through the overall chapter carefully. You can also take the help of your textbook and can email me if you would like to clear your doubts or confusions further.